Good morning everyone. This is class 12th, subject chemistry, chapter number 14, biomolecules, lecture number 3. In the previous lecture, we have discussed the cyclic structure for glucose and fructose. Now next is proteins. Proteins are the most abundant biomolecules of living system. And the chief sources of proteins are milk, cheese, pulses, peanuts, fish, meat, etc. And they occur in every part of the body and forms the fundamental basis of structure and functions of life. They are also required for the growth and maintenance of the body. Now this protein word is derived from proteose, which means primary or of prime importance. And all proteins are polymers of alpha amino acids. Now what do you mean by polymers and alpha amino acids? First we will discuss polymer. Poly means many and mer means unit. Polymers are very large molecules having high molecular mass, and these are formed by repeating structural units on large scale. So polymers are very large molecules having high molecular mass, and these are formed by joining repeating structural units on large scale. Now next term is alpha amino acids. First we will discuss what are amino acids, and then we will move on to alpha amino acids. Amino acids contain NH2, that is amino group, and carboxyl group, that is COOH. So these two are functional group in amino acids, and depending upon the relative position of amino group with respect to this carboxyl group, these can be classified into alpha, beta, gamma and delta. Now we will discuss what are alpha amino acids. So here is the structure for alpha amino acid RCH NH2COH. With respect to this carboxyl group, this carbon is alpha carbon, and here this amino group is attached to this alpha carbon, and this is the structure for amino acid. This R is side chain. Next is all alpha amino acids have trivial name, which usually reflect the property of that compound or its source. For example, glycine and tyrosine. Glycine is so named since it has a sweet taste, and in Greek, glycos means sweet. That is why its name is glycine. And tyrosine was obtained from cheese. In Greek, tyros means cheese. That is why the name is tyrosine. Amino acids are generally represented by a 3-letter symbol and sometimes by 1-letter symbol. So now we will discuss the structure, 3-letter word and 1-letter word for amino acids. So first amino acid is glycine. The structure for glycine is NH2COH, and here this R is equal to hydrogen. So this is the structure for glycine. 3-letter word for glycine is GLY, and the 1-letter code for glycine is G. Next amino acid is alanine. So the structure for alanine is, when we replace this R by CH3, that is, the structure for alanine is H NH2 COH CH3. The 3-letter symbol for alanine is ALA, and the 1-letter word for alanine is A. Next amino acid is valine. So the structure for valine is H NH2 COH Now here this R group is CH3. The 3-letter symbol for valine is VAL and the 1-letter word for valine is V. So these are some amino acids for which 3-letter symbol and 1-letter code is given. Now you can refer table number 14.2 for the structure, 3-letter symbol and 1-letter word for amino acids. So here is the table. These are the names of amino acid. Here these groups are the values of R. These are 3-letter symbol and this is 1-letter code. For example, the amino acid glutamine. The R group is CH2, CONH2 and the 3-letter symbol for glutamine is GLN and the 1-letter code is Q. Whereas for asparagine it is CH2, CONH2, this is the R group. ASN is 3-letter symbol and N is 1-letter code for asparagine. So these are the amino acids. 20 amino acids, structures of 20 amino acids are given. 3-letter symbol and 1-letter code is given. So you can refer this table for the structure of amino acid, 3-letter symbol and 1-letter code for amino acids. Next is classification of amino acids. Next is classification of amino acids. So amino acids are classified as neutral amino acids, basic amino acids, and third is acidic amino acids. Now if you see the structure of alpha amino acids, here one NH2 group is present, one carboxyl group and one is R group. So here in this amino acid, this NH2 is basic and this carboxyl group is acidic. So overall we can say that this is neutral amino acid. So if in any amino acid the number of carboxyl group and the NH2 groups, if they are equal, then that will be neutral amino acid. In case of basic amino acids, NH2 group will be more, and in case of acidic amino acids, carboxylic groups are more as compared to NH2 group. So if we discuss the example of neutral amino acid, then glycine, neutral amino acids, glycine, alanine, these are neutral amino acid. Acidic amino acids is aspartic acid. So here is the structure of aspartic acid. H, NH2, COH, and this is R group is CH2COH. So you can see in the structure the number of carboxylic groups are more as compared to NH2 group. Here only one NH2 is present and two carboxylic groups are present. So this is the example of acidic amino acid. Third is basic amino acid. So lysine is the example of basic amino acid. This is the structure. Now you can see here in this structure the number of NH2 groups are more as compared to carboxylic group. Here only one COOH group is present and here two NH2 groups are present. Therefore this is the example of basic amino acids. So classification of amino acids are neutral amino acids, basic amino acids and acidic amino acids. Next is essential and non-essential amino acids. So essential amino acids are those which cannot be synthesized in the body and must be obtained through diet. Those are known as essential amino acids, whereas non-essential amino acids are those which can be synthesized in the body. So how we will define non-essential amino acids? Non-essential amino acids are those which can be synthesized in the body. Those are non-essential amino acids. Example is proline, glutamine, etc. So these are the example of non-essential amino acids. Now next is essential amino acids. Next is essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are those which cannot be synthesized in the body and must be obtained through diet. Must be obtained through diet. They are known as essential amino acids. Example for essential amino acids are lysine, arginine, etc. So these are the example of essential amino acids. Next is characteristics of amino acids. Amino acids are usually colorless and these are crystalline solids. Amino acids are colorless and crystalline solids. These are water soluble, high melting solids, and behave like salts rather than simple amines or carboxylic acids. So these amino acids behaves as salts rather than amines or carboxylic acids. And this behavior is due to the presence of both acidic, that is carboxyl group, and basic, that is amino group, in the same molecule. In aqueous solution, the carboxyl group can lose a proton and amino group can accept a proton, and giving rise to a dipolar ion known as deuterion. This is neutral but contains both positive and negative charge. So in aqueous solution, what happens? This is the structure for amino acid NH2 COH, and this is R. So in aqueous solution, what happens? This carboxyl acid, this carboxyl group, it will lose this proton, and this NH2 group, it will accept this proton. So here you will get HCOO negative, NH3 positive, and this is R. And this is known as zwitterion. Overall, this is neutral because this positive and negative cancel each other, but it contains positive and negative charge. So because of this behave as salts rather than amines or carboxylic acid. So this is the structure for zwitterion. In aqueous solution, this carboxyl group, it will lose its proton, and this NH2, it will accept this proton, and therefore the zwitterion formation takes place. So in solution, amino acids, they will exist in the form of zwitterion, and this zwitterion shows amphoteric behavior, or you can say that because of this zwitterion, amino acids show amphoteric behavior and they react with both acids and bases. Next thing is, except glycine, all other naturally occurring alpha amino acids are optically active. Optically active means they rotate the plane of polarized light either in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction. And here you can see in the structure of amino acid, this carbon is chiral carbon. That is, if this R group is other than hydrogen, if this R group is hydrogen, then two groups will be same, and therefore this carbon will not be asymmetric. But if this R group is other than hydrogen, then this carbon is alpha carbon, and this carbon is asymmetric carbon, or you can say that this carbon is chiral carbon. So because of presence of chiral carbon, all amino acids are optically active except glycine. Because if you see the structure of glycine, the structure for glycine is H, COH, NH2, and here this R is equals to hydrogen. So now this carbon is not chiral carbon, and therefore this glycine is optically inactive. So except glycine, all other alpha amino acids are optically active, and the alpha carbon is asymmetric in all amino acids except glycine. That is in all naturally occurring alpha amino acids. So in naturally occurring alpha amino acids, all other amino acids are optically active except glycine, because in glycine this carbon is not chiral, and here no chiral carbon is present. That is why this glycine is optically inactive. Next point is, most naturally occurring amino acids have L configuration. That is, naturally occurring amino acids have L configuration. L amino acids are represented by writing the NH2 group on the left hand side, just as we have discussed in the case of carbohydrate. If at the last chiral carbon the OH group is on the right hand side, then we will assign D configuration, and if the OH group is on the left hand side, then we assign L configuration. So in amino acids, if this NH2 group is on the left hand side, then that will be L configuration, and if this NH2 group is on the right hand side, then it will be D configuration. So all naturally occurring amino acids have L configuration, that is NH2 group is present on the left hand side. And L amino acids are represented by writing the NH2 group on the left hand side. So this is all about classification and structure of amino acids. Now next we will discuss structure of proteins. We have already discussed that proteins are the polymers of alpha amino acids and they are connected to each other by peptide bond or peptide linkage. So what do you mean by peptide bond or peptide linkage? Peptide linkage is an amide formed between carboxyl group and NH2 group. So first we will define what is peptide bond or peptide linkage. So peptide linkage is an amide formed between COH group and NH2 group. Now how the peptide bond formation takes place? So the reaction between two molecules of similar or different amino acids proceeds through the combination of amino group of one molecule with the carboxyl group of other, and this results in the elimination of water molecule and the formation of a peptide bond. So now we are discussing how the peptide bond formation takes place when two amino acids combine. Now this is the amino acid, that is glycine, NH2 CH2 COH, and the other amino acid is alanine, NH2 CH CH3 COH. Now here the combination of this NH2 and this carboxyl group takes place, and from here there is an elimination of water molecule and the peptide bond formation takes place. That is, water molecule will be released and here you will get NH2 CH2 C double bond O, OH from this and hydrogen from this. So that will be minus H2O. So C double bond O, NH CH CH3 COOH. This linkage is known as peptide linkage. So this linkage is peptide linkage. Now here two amino acids are involved in forming one peptide linkage, so this is known as dipeptide. Dipeptide means two amino acids are involved in the formation of this peptide linkage. So when two amino acids are involved, one peptide linkage is formed and this is known as dipeptide. Now if we combine three amino acids, for example glycine, alanine and let's say valine. So here three amino acids are combined, so the name is tripeptide, and on combining these three amino acids, two peptide linkage are formed. So how the peptide linkage formation takes place in case of three amino acids? So this is the structure for glycine NH2, CH2, COH. For alanine it is NH2, CH, CH3, COH, and for valine it is NH2, CH, CH3, COH. So what will happen? This OH group from this carboxyl group and hydrogen from this NH2. Similarly, the OH from this carboxyl group and hydrogen from this NH2 group. So here you will get NH2, CH2, C double bond O, NH, CH, CH3, C double bond O, NH, CH, COH, and here you will get CH, CH3. So you can see on the combination of these three amino acids, here we are getting two peptide linkage. So when we combine three amino acids, the name is tripeptide, and here two peptide linkages are formed when three amino acids are combined. Similarly, when 4, 5 or 6 amino acids are linked, the respective products are known as tetrapeptide, pentapeptide or hexapeptide respectively. Now, when the number of such amino acids is more than 10, then the products are called polypeptides. So what are polypeptides? When the number of amino acids, that is, when the number of such amino acids is more than 10, that is, when 10 amino acids combine, then the products obtained are called as polypeptides. And a polypeptide with more than 100 amino acids having molecular mass higher than 10,000, that is called a protein. So how will you define protein? Protein is a polypeptide with more than 100 amino acids having molecular mass higher than 10,000 units, that is called a protein. So how will you define protein? Protein, a polypeptide with more than 100 amino acids, more than 100 amino acid residues having molecular mass higher than 10,000 units. Those are known as proteins. So this is all about the structure of proteins. In the next lecture we will discuss classification of proteins, and then we will discuss structure and shapes of proteins, that is primary, secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure of proteins. So the homework for today's class is learn the classification of amino acids, essential and non-essential amino acids, and the structure of proteins, peptide linkage, polypeptides, and the definition for protein. So this is all about lecture number 3. Thank you. Please like and subscribe this channel.